This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
All right, Matt. Well, hey, that was great with Chanel.
5 kids.
Hustling.
Kids. I love her story,
Yeah.
Broke, traveling across the country, getting up at 3 a.m., trying to figure out how she's going to do this thing and, perseverance, and look where she's at now.
Oh, man, she's grown in leaps and bounds. I'm just so happy for her. Couldn't happen to a better person. But I do think it's hilarious what she was talking about in terms of flexibility.
Flexibility. Well, I brought that up. I thought, hey, do something where you have some flexibility. You have 5 kids and a job where it's going to allow you the time, if you need to go to those doctor's appointments or do whatever you need to. And when you have the time, you'll get to your job responsibilities. Kind of like real estate, right?
It's exactly like real
Realtors get
estate.
into that for that same reason.
Well, yeah. Real estate agents like to get into it because they think it's going to be flexible, but at the end of the day,
couple of hours on the weekends, maybe an open house, and bam, you're making big money and doing great.
You're driving the Mercedes. You got the wardrobe. Selling Sacramento.
Is that not true?
Nothing could be further from the truth. It really, like, all kidding aside, it really makes me mad. Like, mad/sad for people who get into the industry thinking that's what it's going to be. They think, hey, I'll be able to transition out of the other industry that I'm in into this. I'll just do it part-time,
both.
Or do
right?
both, work for the state, be a firefighter. And it's like, okay, what if your lawyer was a firefighter? What if your dentist was also a employee of the state, and they just kind of did dentistry on the side? Like, I mentioned it with Chanel in the interview. 71% of real estate agents did not sell a single house last year. 71. If you line up 10 of them, on average, 7 of them will have sold nothing.
Wow, that's incredible. Because a lot of people don't think that, especially if you're calling up a realtor or you're trying to sell your house. You think, oh, they're doing well. They've probably sold multiple homes, but in all actuality, 70% of the time, they didn't even sell a house all year.
They may not even sold a house. If you line up 100, 98 of them, only 98 of them are selling less than 1.5 homes a month. Would you go to a doctor? Would you go to a dentist? Would you go to a mechanic? Would you go to a chiropractor if every time you went into the office, there was nobody else there?
So do you think one of the problems is that they go into this thinking they can have flexibility? They don't go all in. That's the problem?
Yeah.
Why 7 out of 10 are not selling a home?
7 out of 10 are not selling a home. Over 90% of real estate agents quit in 5 years or less. Over
90% quit in 5 years or less. Why is that?
Because
they're not selling a home?
They're not selling homes. They're not making any money. And so it's like, why am I paying these dues?
Sure.
And then 2, it's just way harder than what they expected. It's not a flexible schedule. It's not easy on family.
Not a flexible schedule.
Not a flexible schedule. If you're doing any amount of business, think about it. You're working with lenders and title and escrow companies, right? During business hours, but your clients are typically available nights and weekends. I'm not proud of this, but this is honest. I went to bed with Valerie on the phone last night talking to a home seller about the 3 different offers she had on her property. I went to bed and Valerie was still working, right? So that's when she gets her second wind after the kids are all down and put down.
Sure.
If that's what it takes to, and so there's going to be 2 types of realtors listening to this right now that are they're either nodding their head or they're going, I would never do that. The people who are nodding their heads are probably top producers. They're probably selling more than 1.5 homes a month. They've been there. They understand that. The ones that are like, oh man, that's horrible. I agree with you. It's not a good place to be, but you're probably also not selling houses. The biggest thing. So Valerie's asked one time, hey, what's the difference? Because she was called out by this mega producer, and he's like, hey, if you guys want to be successful, do what this person's doing, do what that person's doing, do what Valerie Jennings is doing. And so a guy came up to her afterwards and said, hey, what is it you do? Why are you so successful? She's like, I don't say no. And that is being successful in real estate in a nutshell. That's being successful at anything. Chanel is successful because she didn't say no. She would show up. She sent her husband to drive to Santa Barbara and back to make sure that her clients were happy, because she knows it's not about only that one client. It's about all the deals that are going to follow it. About, 1, doing the right thing, and then 2, just making sure that the repeat referral business is going to be there, that she's dependable, she's reliable. And if your real estate agent is doing this part-time, if they have to squeeze you in between coffee, yoga, and picking up the kids at school, like you feel that as a client. And you're like, you don't feel as like you're a priority. And when you're putting down, $20,000, $60,000, $100,000 or more, when you're buying a house, when you're paying these fees, and you're seeing how much the agents are getting paid, are they really worth that fee? Well, if they're doing it part time, you kind of feel like it's not worth it. So I recently went on a listing appointment, this house is probably worth $2.4 million. The person, I knew he had dealt with other fantastic real estate agents, because when he says, "Hey, so what do you charge? Like, is it 3 bananas?" And I was like, "Yes, absolutely, it's 3 bananas." $2.4 million. That's a large commission check. But he just assumed that is what I was going to get paid, was 3 bananas, because that's what all of his other agents in Pebble and in Santa Cruz and other locations had charged him. Meanwhile, I'm talking to somebody else who is selling a house for $300,000, and they want it for 1.5 bananas, right? And so, to me, that says either they don't see the value in a real estate agent, even though I gave them the same presentation, even though I'm providing the same level of service, they don't see the value. And so, if you're doing this part-time, it's really hard to convey that value, and when you're trying to earn an income. So
for young people or someone who's thinking about entering the industry, how many hours a week do you think they should realistically expect to be putting in as an agent?
Absolutely. So, I don't know. I
know it's not the same for everybody, but let's say they want to be part of your team.
Yeah.
Let's say someone is listening to this show and they're hustling as a real estate agent, or maybe they're brand new and they got their license and they've heard you talk about being a part of a team, and they like you and they feel like you're going to help them succeed.
So what I would tell people is, like, I can only coach you from where I've been. There are people who have had way more success with way less effort, and then there's people who have achieved much less success, with tons of effort. Whatever. I can only tell you what I've done. And so what I did for the first 9 years of being a real estate agent is I worked 7 days a week. 7 days a week for 9 years. Not only me, but then Valerie was also doing it as well. We had 2 kids during that period of time. We changed markets 3 times our first 4 years in the industry. Like, we were working every single day, 7 days a week, for 9 years. Whether we were on vacation, which barely ever happens. I don't even know the last time I was on vacation. Like, just for fun. Normally we travel, and it's we're going to Cabo in March. It's a work thing. We're learning about how to grow our real estate business. We're not going just to hang out by the beach. And so, if you're looking to be successful in this industry, I would expect it to be a 7 day a week thing. Now, you're like, "Well, Johnny, you're a Christian. You go to church." Yes, I totally get that. Again, I'm not recommending necessarily what we did. I'm just telling you what we did. But what Valor and I would do is we would go to church. We would go to the early morning service on Sundays, because most clients and stuff are not up early in the morning.
Right.
And then we would do open houses in the afternoons, and then we'd be available for the clients in the afternoons to show them properties and you just meet with people. And so that's kind of how we did it. So what my schedule looks like right now, 10 years into this, selling a home every 3 days, what my schedule looks like right now, and I would expect a new agent to be working even harder, is I show up, I'm at the office at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then my cutoff, I stop it at 7 o'clock at night. So if I'm on appointments, sometimes it goes a little later, sometimes I'm driving home.
Wait, what time did you say you start in the morning?
8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
I'm at the office at 8 o'clock in the morning. There might be texts or emails or whatever, but I'm at the office at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm loading up and going home at 7 o'clock at night. The reason why is because I want to wake up. I want to be there when my boys wake up, and I want to be there to put them down.
Nice, love that.
And so, should it be more? Should it be less? Probably somewhere in between. But that's what I'm doing. So if you're looking to be successful in this industry, show up at your office at 8 o'clock in the morning and start doing lead generation activities that are going to provide an income for you and your family, and then go on appointments in the afternoons.
So I guess from what I'm hearing is, one of the questions you would ask someone is, what are you expecting to get out of this? That will determine how much effort you need to put into it, right?
Absolutely. And not everybody, some people just want to do this part-time. Some people just want to close a deal every quarter, right? I don't think that's good for them, and I don't think that's good for the industry. Because,
why not?
Because you're a pretender. You're a part-timer. You're not doing this full-time. You're thinking about you. And I get it. I'm working hard. I'm thinking about me. I'm trying to provide an income for myself and my family. But if you're doing this part-time, you're not very good at what you're doing. You're seeing a limited number of scenarios. You're doing a limited number of negotiations. You have a limited amount of experience, and that you're not getting even the reps in. And so if it takes 10,000 hours to be good at something, and you're closing a deal every 3 months, it's going to take you a long time to be good at it, if ever. Versus if you're working hard and you're compressing that timeline, you're showing up at 8, you're working hard, you're doing lead generation activities, like you're calling people, you're calling your sphere, you're doing open houses, and then you're going home at 7, you're locking it up and going home at 7 o'clock at night, you're going to compress that timeline down. And you don't even have to be the brightest bulb in the box. You will find success. And so if you're looking to get in the industry, that's the type of work it takes to be successful.
And then you would say to that person, what? Is it worth it? And your answer would be, obviously, you've been talking about sacrifice, hustling, working hard. Is the payout worth it?
So that's an interesting question. So
for you, obviously, otherwise you'd be done, right?
Yeah, otherwise I'd be done. It depends on the day because for example, like I went on 8 appointments. I didn't get any of them. I went 8 appointments in a week, and I did not get any of them. And that's just like, man, am I in the right industry? Is this really working hard? But then you know what? The next week, 4 of those people called me up, said they wanted to move forward, and then I signed $1 million listing and a $2.4 million listing. And so it's an up and down. What my suggestion is, in order for an agent to succeed at this in the long haul, which I've only been doing it 10 years, so I haven't done this 20, 30, 40 years. Like Tom Dave's been doing it. Yeah, I think he sold Noah the Ark, right? But in order to have success, you have to be able to find some sustainable rhythm. Some people can run faster than others. Some people have bigger goals than others. Some people, can't carry that load for that long. And so for me, I'm honestly still trying to figure out what that load looks like, and it changes. Like your goals change. When Valerie had Jack, things changed. When Valerie had our second son,
Sure.
Ben, things changed. And so as far, I even forgot the question, but
Just, is it worth it? All this work and effort, is it worth it? Is the payout worth all that you're putting into it?
I love it. So when I used to work in the oil fields, fantastic job. Loved the company I worked for, loved the people I worked for. I loved everything about it except the fact that I was told when to show up to work, when I could go home, and essentially how much money I could make. And the thing that I love about real estate, because I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a workaholic, but I love working. Like I feel fulfilled, I feel satisfied, I feel like I'm contributing to my family and others when I'm working. And in real estate, my income, I'm not told when I have to work, when I can take time off, when I can do stuff like that. I am now given this unlimited runway from which I can now create an income.
That's the flexibility I was talking about.
So the flexibility on the income, but like for me, the income in real estate,
you can push yourself as hard as or as little as you want, depending on what you want the outcome to be.
Yeah,
right?
you can, but in order to have in order to make $70,000 a year, $100,000 a year, like anything that resembles a livable wage in California, you have to work harder than you would work in other industries.
Oh, really? Okay.
Absolutely. But when I think flexibility, and the flexibility I like is the flexibility of my income. Like if I'm willing to put in the hours, if I'm willing to work harder than anybody else, I can out earn everybody. Nobody's telling me when I can work overtime.
Right.
Nobody's telling me, when I can go to work, when I have to leave, and how much money I can make that month or that week. Like that's up to me. It's solely resting on my shoulders, and that flexibility of income is what I love about the industry. Because Valerie and I, we both graduated college, right? But her degree's in nutrition, my degree's in history. Like if I was to be a history teacher, I'd be making a fraction of what I'm making now, right?
Sure.
But despite having a history degree, I am able to use skills and talents and read books and pay for coaching and go to events and invest in myself and make more money than people who are doctors, lawyers,
right.
dentists, So that's the flexibility I like about the industry. But if it's about time, if it's about work-life balance, this is not the industry for you.
The weather's getting better. Buyers are out shopping. Is your home ready to sell? Well, skip all the showings, the open houses, those costly needed repairs, and just reach out to Johnny Jennings. He'll get you at least 3 cash offers on your home, guaranteed in as-is condition. There's a reason why they were voted #1 real estate team in Roseville for the past 3 years. Almost 1,000 5-star Google reviews. Just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty and get more for your home.